and meaning of life. Xiefeng, December 32009. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. The value of life is to seek Tao, attain immortality, and go to heaven. The meaning of life is to develop a nature that is pleasing to the greatest creator. Life is just a short trip of life in the mortal world. But the destination for each individual is vastly different. Some rise up to heaven, but some fall into hell, and some revert back to the animal world, while some return as mortals, and so on. This shows that life's greatest value lies in taking all the chances and conditions, and combines them with Tao to attain the celestial character and go on to live in heaven. Life has 18 aspects that cannot be self-managed. Likewise, it also has 18 aspects can be completely self-managed. Life is an investment. The different directions of investments eventually will lead to huge differences of life results. If you invest in sesame, then you will get sesame. If you invest in watermelons, then you will get watermelons. A day has 24 hours for each of us. Due to the different directions of investments, the life values that individuals get can be very different. I will list 8 investments here, and we will see which one ultimately proves to have the maximum value. Shepherding, growing food, getting married, having children, those children growing up to shepherd, grow food, get married, have children, the grandchildren growing up to shepherd, grow food, get married, and the cycle continues. Attending primary school, graduating from higher education, landing an office job, earning money to buy a house, getting married, starting a family, having children, raising them to attend school and college, land office jobs, earn money to buy houses, get married, and have your grandchildren. Opening a business, earning money, buying property and luxury villas around the world, having 1, 2, even 3 mistresses, raising a bunch of children to inherit the legacy, playing what is desired to be played and seeing what desired to be seen, and then dying peacefully in bed. Becoming an official, climbing up the ladder with a full heart and soul, getting promoted from a clerk to a section chief, to a director general, to a minister, to a provincial governor, and ultimately to become the prime minister while facing twists and turns, often happy and bright ones, all the way up, benefiting close and remote relatives, bringing honors to one's ancestors and to the glorious family. Getting famous, a wild goose leaves behind a voice, a man leaves behind a name. Fame is a kind of asset. Whether in the entertainment industry or television news circles, whether in pop culture or high culture, whether in a political party or a religious community, having only one purpose, to become famous and to meet one's desires through fame. You establishing achievements, either for political parties, religious organizations, or states, dedicating everything including one's life, and finally becoming a national hero, a meritorious statesman, or a religious leader. Retreating from the world, wanting nothing and doing nothing, being abstinent and restraining from material interests, being oblivious to the outside world, but indulging in the books of the saints and sages. Making life happy, joyous, free, and blessed by leading a full life, leaving no remorse or regrets, self-refining by giving unconditionally to charity, knowing the coordinate system and the coordinate points of the universe, and knowing one's self-destination. These 8 investment orientations above are random examples. There are 84,000 ways of the Buddha, and there are 84,000 ways of life journeys. No matter into which directions you invest, the key point is to get the maximum benefits, and that is the value of life. If we make a careful calculation, it is not difficult to understand that investing in the last direction is of a higher value than any of the previous 7. The meaning of life is the complete exhibition of natural character to please the greatest creator. As we are created by the greatest creator, our purpose is to please the greatest creator. Those who fail to please the greatest creator are doomed to suffer tragic lives. The greatest creator created the sun for illumination, fruit trees to bear fruit, flowers and plants to be colorful and beautiful, and people to highlight our natural human nature. What should be there, the greatest creator has given us. What should not be there, the greatest creator has denied us. Additional wants and desires are contrary to the will of and cannot please the greatest creator. The values of life are to seek Tao, attain immortality, and go to heaven. The meaning of life is to exhibit a nature that will please the greatest creator. Believe it or not, 心灵受伤是因为有我. Getting hurt is because you have a self. Xiefeng. September 26, 2012. Translated by Tsong Long. In our lifetime, we always feel being hurt. Sadness and pain are torturing us. We are depressed and angry. We grumble at or hate others. Sometimes we feel so disappointed at life and we are in deep despair. Many times we feel hurt and cannot smile, and we feel very blue. We want to quarrel, fight, and we are resistant. We even think of ending our lives. Interpersonal relationships are difficult. We always feel deeply hurt just because of one inappropriate word, action, face expression, behavior, request, or arrangement. And therefore we worry and are depressed. We do not have appetite for food and cannot sleep at night. All hurt, whether is mental or spiritual, the root cause lies not in the outside. It lies in ourselves. The core reason is because we put too much focus on ourselves. We have very high self-esteem and vanity. We want to preserve our dignity and face, and we are too much attached to the values and worldview which we think are right. There is a saying in Tao Te Ching, we have fears because we have a self. When we do not regard that self as self, what have we to fear? Because we have self, and put it in the foremost position, this self is easy to get hurt. If we do not have self, where does the hurt come from? People always say, one who does not want anything can get well with anybody. One who does not drink would not care how expensive the wine is. If our self has no requests and desires, we will feel happy anywhere, in any situations, and will have good relationship with people. As long as our self has desires and want to hold or preserve something, we will get hurt. Therefore, Lao Tzu taught us to be no action and no fight. Because he does not contend, no one in the world can contend against him. And Buddha Sakyamuni taught us to free from ego and form. We need to be in a state that our mind does not reside on anything and carefree. If we do not have self, we see peace everywhere. If we have self, there are many obstacles on the way. Without self, we get self. With self, we lose self. If we value ourselves too much and put too much weight on our dignity, vanity, and our own feeling, and we love ourselves too much, we will be very easily to get frustrated and encounter setbacks. We are already blessed to be a Chanyuan Celestial. We are blessed to live in the second home, now new oasis for life. And we are blessed to walk on the way to 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and Elysium world. What else are we not willing to let go? Are those not enough? What else should we fight for? Give up ourselves, let it go. Let also go our opinions and viewpoints. We will see a beautiful scene before us. As long as we let the self go, our heart will never get hurt. Please be reminded that if you always get hurt, that means you still have a long way to go, and you still do not understand the meaning of life and life. That also means that you are not enlightened yet, and you have not stepped on the road to heaven. If you always get hurt, you will never accomplish the best result of self-cultivation, and you will never be eligible to enter heaven. 上帝知道的八大内涵. The 8 meanings of the way of the greatest creator. Xiefeng. June 9, 2010. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. Life Genuine takes the way of the greatest creator. But what is the way of the greatest creator and what are its meanings? In general, the way of the greatest creator is the Tao of nature, the way that Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, the immortal Lao Tzu, and Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, guided people to take. The way of the greatest creator has 8 major meanings. The universe is the product of the consciousness of the greatest creator. Everything comes into being through its creation. Everything runs in the consciousness of the way of the greatest creator. You must give play to your nature and conform to nature. Revering the greatest creator and following the example of the greatest creator, reality is the portrayal of the diverse free consciousness of life. Happiness, joy, freedom, and blessing are the themes of life. All is but a game. The universe is the product of the consciousness of the greatest creator. Structure generates consciousness. The original cosmic consciousness is Allah, ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator. After the birth of Allah, ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, Wuji turned into a being which had consciousness, and hence everything began to follow the consciousness of the greatest creator. Chaos turned into day form. Yin and Yang and the four images came into being. The universe took shape. Gradually, the 20 parallel worlds and 36-dimensional space were formed, and the appearance of time resulted from material movement. So, the universe is the product of the consciousness of the greatest creator. Acknowledging this is to take the way of the greatest creator. Everything comes into being through its creation. In the beginning, the universe was Wuji and was void. With the being of the greatest creator, so began creation with consciousness and the creation of the first batch of life. Gods, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and then the second batch life. Angels, super celestial beings. Then the gods and angels were asked to create all things based on a blueprint designed by the greatest creator. For all the life we see on Earth, not only people and animals, but even the grass and bacterial microorganisms come into being through his creation. We often observe that some life seems to be of natural birth and cannot see its creation process. In fact, they are not formed by natural birth, but as the result of the operation of the reproduction program of life. Understanding this is to take the way of the greatest creator. Everything runs in the consciousness of the greatest creator, the Tao. The sunrise and sunset, the ebb and flow, the blooming and fading of flowers, the changing of seasons. Who arranges and controls all these things? The answer is Tao. The intercourse of a man and woman gives birth to fertilized ovum which gradually develops in the womb of the mother to eventually form a complete human body with eyes, a nose, hair, hands, and feet. After 9 months pregnancy and giving birth to a child, comes infancy, childhood, youth, adulthood, old age, deterioration, and death. Who arranges and controls this? The answer is also Tao. As long as we conduct mediations and read our revelations, we will find that everything in time and space is in the arrangement and control of Tao. Where does the Tao with the 8 characteristics come from? We can ask the question this way. The normal operation of human society relies on the maintenance of constitutions, laws, rules, and regulations. Where do they come from? Undoubtedly, they are developed by people. People are operating them from behind, and here is the answer. The law that maintains the effective operation of all things in the universe, Tao, was developed by the greatest creator. Someone is operating the Tao from behind, and this someone is the greatest creator. Constitutions and laws reflect the people's consciousness. Therefore, Tao reflects the consciousness of the greatest creator. Conversely, the consciousness of the greatest creator is Tao. All things move in Tao, that is, all things move in the consciousness of the greatest creator. Recognizing this is to take the way of the greatest creator. You must give play to your nature and conform to nature. All things have nature. Mountains have mountain nature, water has water nature, gods have god nature, devils have devil nature, people have human nature, and beasts have beast nature. Where do the natures of all things come from? The answer is that the natures of all things come from their structures. The kinds of structures determine the kinds of natures. The structures of all things are created by the greatest creator. If things live and exist by their natures, then they are following the will of the greatest creator. If they do not live and exist by their natures, they are doing so against the will of the greatest creator. A dog is to watch the house and guard the yard. A cat is to catch mice, and a mouse is to dig holes and steal and eat granary. Only when all things perform their own functions can the universe move in an orderly way, and only then can it meet the decree of the greatest creator. If things were to deviate from their natures, they would deviate from the way of the greatest creator and would thus be punished by the Tao. Take human, for example. Human have to live and exist by human nature. Were they to lose their human nature, they would be bound to be punished. Likewise, expending or suppressing human nature is also deviating from the way of the greatest creator. Let us say the Buddhist monks and nuns, or the Christian priests and sisters, have their innate human natures destroyed or suppressed. That would be a deviation from the way of the greatest creator. Human eyes are to see, ears are to hear, and sexual organs are to procreate. If they were to be left unused, it would also be against the will of the greatest creator in creating them. Roosters are created to crow, hens are created to lay eggs, and human are created to be active on the earth to please the greatest creator. If roosters refused to crow, hens refused to lay eggs, and human did not please the greatest creator, then what would be the use of the roosters, the hens, or the people? Chinese Taoists pursue magic powers and the arts, and that is not right. It is against the way of the greatest creator. The things that are necessary for human survival and existence have been designed in structures of life by the greatest creator, no more and no less. For instance, our eyes can only see chromatic images in the wavelengths between 400 and 700 nanometers, and our hearing threshold is between 20 Hz and 20 kHz, and that is enough. Many Chinese practitioners work through the Du meridian and Ren meridian, the microcosmic and macrocosmic orbits, retreating, making plant seeds germinate from within the hands, opening the third eye, or self-refining to bring out the primordial spirit, and so on. All these practices are contrary to the Tao of nature, thus contrary to the way of the greatest creator. Just as the rooster that wants to lay eggs instead of crowing, or the hen that wants to crow instead of laying eggs, the results are predictable. So taking the way of the greatest creator is to highlight innate natures and to follow them. A clear-sighted mind is to perceive the natures, and perceiving these natures is to attain Buddhahood. One will never attain Buddhahood if they do not perceive natures and follow them. Revering the greatest creator and following the example of the greatest creator, reverence of the greatest creator allows us to do whatever we desire to, but not to go against the rules. If you do not revere the greatest creator, you will be lawless and do whatever you desire and bring harm upon yourself as a result. Therefore, revering the greatest creator is fully beneficial, brings no harm, and costs nothing. If you do not revere the greatest creator, disasters will befall you. Why should you refuse the deal with only gains but no losses? The greatest creator is love, sincerity, kindness, beauty, faith and honesty, happiness, joy, freedom, and blessing. So we need to follow the example of the greatest creator. The greatest creator is also creation. So we should follow the example of the greatest creator to work and create and to get joy from labor. The greatest creator is also selfless dedication. So we should follow the example of the selfless dedication of the greatest creator and obtain blessing from selfless dedication. Reality is the portrayal of the diverse free consciousness of life. Consider that if you have loose bowels, you must have eaten rotten or spoiled food, and if you have a headache, you probably wore something unsuited for the weather or lacked sleep due to excessive thinking. Consider that if someone scolds you today, you might have hurt them in the past. Is that not so? If we trace the roots of our situations, pains, misfortunes, or even the disasters we encounter, they are all the results of our false consciousness and the defects in our soul. Good will be blessed with good and evil will be cursed with evil. If it is not repaid now, that is only because its time has not yet come. Once the time comes, it will surely be repaid. If you want to know what you have done in the past, look at your present situation. If you want to know your future situation, watch your present words and deeds. Your consciousness determines your life environment and your survival state. Like attracts like, and identical frequencies resonate. If we are nice to life and nature will be nice to us. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure. Misery and happiness have no doors. If either comes, one brings it upon themselves. If we carry out the devil's deeds, we will become devils, and if we act like beasts, we will become beasts. But if we follow the example of Buddha, then we will attain Buddhahood. When you approach the mountain, you will learn the twitter of birds. When you approach the water, you will understand the freely swimming fish. Birds of a feather flock together, and like begets like. The greatest creator has bestowed certain free consciousness upon us. We make the choices of what to do and what not to do. All of us are responsible for our choices. Reality is the portrayal of various free consciousness of life. We have neither heaven, the earth, society, nor others to blame. If something seems wrong, it is neither with the universe nor the world, but with you. If you do not understand this, your life is confused. If you do understand this, your life is one that is as clear as crystal. This is the way of the greatest creator. Happiness, joy, freedom, and blessing are the themes of life. Did the greatest creator create people to suffer? No, definitely not. Was it for them to fight and kill each other, contend for power, cheat on each other, conspire against each other, and to worry and be miserable? No, definitely not. The greatest creator created people to lead happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives. We see the blue sky and white clouds, the blossoming of all kinds of flowers and birds twittering cheerfully. These are designed to please our minds and bodies. I guess the adults reading this have enjoyed physical love? How does that feel? Wonderful, right? The greatest creator designed organs and senses to let us enjoy life. These facts prove eloquently that the greatest creator loves us. The greatest creator is compassionate and wants us to lead happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives. Therefore, happiness, joy, freedom, and blessings are the themes of life. Any human activities should be carried out and preceded tightly around attaining these attributes for everyone. We grow crops, engage in production or labor, make money, become officials, start businesses, etc. What are the ultimate purposes? Do we grow crops for the sake of growing crops, work for the sake of working, and make money for the sake of making money? Definitely not. We do these things to achieve happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives, right? No matter what you do, regardless of your status, your identity, or your fame, as long as you possess them in your lifetime, you are on the way of the greatest creator and your life is a successful end. All is but a game. The universe is in the condition of joy. The purpose of the greatest creator, creating all these things, is but a game. Everything is but a game. Only life is real. One cannot be too attached to things and should not possess and occupy too much. Excessive attachment and too much possession and occupation will cause you to lose the true nature of life, make the game turn into the pain of fighting and killing, and turn a comedy into a tragedy. It is not worthwhile. Life is but a dream. We need to experience lives to the fullest and live them that way. Play the game as much as you like. Enjoy it to the fullest if it is fun, but give it up if it is not. Why are you so serious and so attached? Nothing is yours. The life stage is just a game. What can you keep after death? Only our consciousness is real. 集体生活优于个体生活. Collective life is superior to individual life. Xiefeng. The collective life discussed here refers to a mode of existence in which many people live together according to communist principles. The individual life mentioned here is defined as a mode of existence in which each person lives independently according to capitalist principles. Family life is capitalist in nature, although it takes the form of communism. Individual life befits the selfish person, while collective life is ideal for unselfish people. If you are barbarous, ignorant, selfish, narrow-minded, insidious, jealous, resentful, and have bad habits, then you had better live an individual life. On the other hand, if you are civilized, well-educated, public-minded and unselfish, open-minded, kind, loving, and merciful, and are free of mental or physiological defections, then collective life suits you the best. The collective life is superior to individual life mainly in the following 8 aspects. Collective life is more colorful than individual life. People leading a collective life are less likely to suffer depression and other mental illnesses. Collective life is safer than individual life and has less anxiety and fear. Collective life is not monotonous and tedious. Individual life often leads to depression and isolation. Collective life allows people to have more leisure time for entertainment and cultivation because of the division of labor and cooperation. Collective life offers more opportunity of communication, and thus people have fewer restrictions and checks against each other and enjoy greater freedom. Collective life operates on the principle of sharing weal and woe between members, and thus people have less pressure of life and can achieve happiness more easily. Collective life is the necessary road that leads life to higher level of life spaces. Individual life may induce selfishness and thus makes it difficult for people to ascend to the heavenly kingdom. Jesus Christ warns us that it is more difficult for wealthy people to go to the paradise than for the camel to pass through the hole of the needle. Why? Because wealthy people are not willing to lead a collective life. Wealthy people would not have others share their happiness. It is absolutely impossible for a person to go to the heavenly kingdom if he or she is not willing to share his wealth with others, because life in there is not individual life but collective life. There are neither rich people nor poor people in the heavenly kingdom. Only those who love collective life and blend themselves in the collective life can have the hope to enter the paradise. The more perfect non-material structure of life a person has, the greater love and passion this person will have for collective life. The more flawed non-material structure of life a person has, the greater love and passion this person will have for individual life, and the more difficult it is for him to blend into collective life. It is based upon profound and sound consideration that Life Genuine puts forward the proposal that Chanyuan Celestials lead a collective life. Cultivation is conducted completely in accordance with the need of heavenly kingdom and the teachings of Jesus Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni. Life Genuine is leading people to live in heavenly kingdom in an all-round manner. It is necessary not only to be sensible, increase wisdom, enhance the taste of life, we must also continuously promote the consciousness of paradise in our daily life, and develop and form the good habit to familiarize ourselves with and adapt to the life in heavenly kingdom. Whether Xiefeng has spoken the truth, you can tell it from your own heart. You can read about the thoughts of all saints and sages in history. You can check it against and contrast it with the teachings of Jesus Christ, of Buddha Sakyamuni, and of celestial being Lao Tzu. You can use your spiritual perception. If you have done these seriously, you will understand why Life Genuine asks that everyone long for collective life and live a collective life. Not everyone is qualified or meets the condition to lead the collective life. A person that has not been influenced by the values of Life Genuine will find it difficult to live in collective life and will soon be eliminated. A selfish, arrogant, irrational, narrow-minded, faulty, mentally and psychologically handicapped, dishonest, an ill-bred person will find it very difficult to stay in the second home, now new oasis for life, of Life Genuine for a long time. Because his or her selfish and arrogant structure of consciousness does not match the collective structure of sharing weal and woe, and he cannot put up with the bondage of the collective atmosphere. Whether you can live harmoniously in a collective life is the best touchstone to check which level, realm, and state a person has achieved in self-refinement and cultivation. This is not decided by how glib a tongue you have or how good a form you can put up. What matters is your inner mind. If you love collective life from the bottom of your heart and can smoothly blend into collective life, then you have achieved a lot in cultivation. Otherwise, you have not got anywhere in cultivation. You might have been led astray. Just feel for yourself and gain the understanding that collective life is superior to individual life. 集体生活是最好的修道场. Collective life is the best way to cultivate Tao. Xiefeng. The extent of a person's self-refinery and self-improvement can be best examined by the collective life. What most ascetics in the world cultivate is only pet phrase and method of argument, just like an armchair strategist who divorces from reality and acts blindly. One cannot prove sufficiently that he or she has really promoted his or her spiritual nature, or that he or she has a more perfect structure of life, simply by judging how long one has engaged in self-cultivation, how many books on self-improvement one has read, how many books on self-refinery and self-improvement one has written, how beautiful the article is, how convincingly one has been talking, how long one has stayed in churches or temples, and how many activities one has taken part in, or how many beautiful words one has said on network forums for self-cultivation. Many people have deep theoretical knowledge and can talk eloquently, but when it comes to practical problems, they often handle them in an approach that runs counter to what they have preached. They talk eloquently to others only to fish for fame and compliments, and will not let themselves be guided by what they have talked. To know what level of cultivation and refinery one has attained, he or she must undergo the process of verification in real life. And participating in collective life offers the simplest, most direct, and most effective way of verification. Suppose 100 people are living together a communist life. The soul of each person will be reflected incisively and vividly. The moral character of a person can be seen clearly in the collective life. Generally speaking, in a small family, people will maintain a clean and tidy family environment. But once living in a collective, these same people who maintain a clean and tidy family environment will change. The dirty public toilet is just one example. At home, people are most frugal in the use of water, electricity, toilet paper, and the like. However, once in a collective, they will not be so frugal. On the contrary, they may be very lavish. The core of self-refinery and self-cultivation is nature, love, and Tao. Now people know that love is one core component of self-refinery and self-cultivation. It is extremely easy to talk about love in network, in speeches, and in articles, but can love be shown when a practical problem arises? In such a situation, will one love others in the same manner that he loves himself? It is one matter for one person to live all by oneself, but quite a different one for two people to live together. Living in a small family is different from living in a big family. A person with a beautiful heart and soul can live naturally and peacefully either by oneself or in a collective, while a person with a flawed heart and soul may live normally all by oneself, but will have trouble when living with another person and is totally incompatible with a collective life, where he or she may become the source of disputes. The lack of collective life in this world has made it difficult for people to quickly optimize their souls. Without the tempering and test of collective life, it will be difficult for a person to perfect his or her soul. Without the examination of collective life, no one can be clear whether his or her soul is relatively perfect. Collective life is the best venue for the cultivation of Tao. Without collective life, all one's cultivation and self-refinery may prove only to be futile pet phrases, no matter how long he or she has been engaged in self-cultivation, including the practice of various skills, no matter how proficient he or she is in theory, or no matter how many profound mysteries he or she has grasped, because he or she does not know where the cultivation is leading. The selfish person has absolutely no luck to enter the paradise. Whether one is selfish or not will become clear once the person enters the collective life. Collective life may easily reveal what level one has reached in self-refinery and self-improvement. In addition, a solitary figure may vary in moral character. To retain Tao, one must temper oneself in collective life. 你离天堂有多远? How far you are from heaven. Xiefeng. October 7th, 2013. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. Do you believe that there is a place in the universe where everyone loves each other and treats each other kindly, and where people never quarrel or fight, where there is no marriage, family, currency, or personal property, and where people never worry about food, clothes, shelter, transportation, living, aging, sickness, or death? It is a place where the environment is beautiful and serene like Xanadu, and where people often play games and have endless fun together. A place where love is free and everyone does their work freely, nobody manages or monitors them. No one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night, where people and nature coexist harmoniously and never harm each other. Do you still not believe in the existence of heaven? If you believe what I am saying here, then come to see how near you have come to heaven now. If you do not believe that you are made by the greatest creator, but rather by your parents, then you are endlessly far from heaven. If you never save wealth in heaven, then you are 108,000 kilometers away from heaven. 108,000 kilometers is a Chinese proverb to describe a tremendous distance between two places. That if you did not pay off your debts from all previous lives, then you are still very far from heaven. If you think marriage, family, and relatives are the biggest wealth in your life, then you are quite far from heaven. If you think the biggest pride and honor in life is to own money, power, and fame, then you are still very far from heaven. If there are still poisonous weeds like jealousy, complaining, anger, possession, control, hypocrisy, selfishness, greed, pride, laziness, comparison, precaution, meanness, cruelty, extravagance, waste, or resentment growing in your soul garden, then you are very far from heaven. If you never know what confession and apology are, then you are very far from heaven. If you never know about gratitude, then you are very far from heaven. If you still covet your personal property, then you are very far from heaven. If your love is only focused on a small group of people, then you are very far from heaven. If you want to control or hamper anyone's freedom, then you are very far from heaven. If you often tell your sad stories or complain a lot to others, then you are very far from heaven. If you have not returned to a childlike state, then you are very far from heaven. If the above situations do not exist, then you are just one step away from heaven. Why can you not see the scenery of heaven? Because you are too far from it. If you try to get close to heaven, step by step, the scenery will become clearer. Eventually, you will see heaven. Just have a try if you do not believe me. 心灵的同频共振者就是亲人. Souls sharing the same vibration are family. Xiefeng. December 11th, 2009. Translated by Tsong Long and edited by Care. Who is our family? Jesus told us, "For whosoever does the pleasure of my Father in heaven, he is my brother and sister and mother." Matthew 12:50. Jesus Christ is the road, the truth, and the life. When we follow his teachings, we will be reborn in heaven, and we will know that whoever lives in the will of the greatest Creator is our family. I am the embodiment of Jesus Christ in this era, an era for reaping the ripe crops. Let me tell you again, whoever meets the following standards are our family. A one who reveres the greatest Creator and walks on his way. One who reveres life, reveres nature, loves life, and loves peace. One with whom we can share weal and woe. One who cares for us, never oppresses us, never exploits us, and never bullies us. One who speaks gently, never shouts at us, never complains, never laughs at us, never insults us, and never discourages us. One who can forgive our mistakes and makes us smile. One who never quarrels or fights with us, but always is willing to sacrifice his or her interests for us. One who brings happiness, joy, fun, and freedom. One who is close but never harms us. In short, whoever shares the same vibration is our family. Family is the one we can care for and love, and the one who is caring and loving. When we are with our family, we should have no troubles or worries, and never feel lonely or isolated. When we are with our family, there are no quarrels or fights and no anxieties or fears. Wherever we are, as long as we are with our family, our life is beautiful and happy, and our future is blessed. We should redefine the traditional family concept, which is merely based on the blood relationship, and build up a new family theory. Let us make everyone have more families in the journey of life, and make their lives even more beautiful. 自私是通往天国的一道屏障. Selfishness is the stumbling block to heaven. Xiefeng. April 3rd, 2011. Translated by Tsong Long. You can feel the vastness of the universe when you have a selfless mind, and you have so much worry if you are selfish. The sage puts himself last and finds himself in the foremost place, and the laity put himself first and finds himself death. I often observe the people surrounding me. Many people often have emotions as worry, angry, feeling unsettled, anxious, discontent, jealous, hate, complain, depressed, pessimistic, and etc. They are very hard to please. The root cause of the above situations is selfishness. In heaven, nobody is selfish. That is why heaven is a place with peace, harmony, and happiness. I have established a transit station on our way to heaven, the second home, now new oasis for life, of Life Genuine. One of my objectives is to eliminate the selfishness in humans' nature. In the old lifestyle, it is very difficult to remove selfishness. For example, anyone who lives in marriage and family is selfish because they have to be selfish. While in the second home, I first request Chanyuan Celestials to break marriage and family and give up their personal property. Moreover, the management style of the second home is paradise management. There is no power, position, fame, or wealth to chase after. Nobody attaches to anyone, and there is no special relationship between two persons. Nobody has to worry the basic need like food, accommodation, clothes, and transportation. Nobody needs to worry how to deal with aging, illness, and death. Therefore, there is no fertile soil for the selfishness seed to grow, and the only thing people will do is focus on self-cultivation and spiritual growth, focus on playing games and entertainment, focus on exhibiting one's sincerity, kindness, and beauty, and focus on purifying their soul and repaying the debts and accumulating merits. In other words, in the traditional life mode, one is possible to transit to the lower level of life space, while in the new life mode, one is only possible walking towards heaven. So does that mean all people living in the second home are not selfish? No, they are also selfish. It still needs continuous cultivation on one's soul garden to change old thoughts and philosophies, and change the habit people formed in traditional lifestyle. If one celestial is too slow to follow new values and is often selfish, there is elimination mechanism in the second home. He will eventually be eliminated, either eliminated by himself or by the new life program. One who is selfless is not able to survive in traditional marriage and family, while one who is selfish is not able to survive in the second home. In fact, the teachings of Jesus, Sakyamuni, Lao Tzu, and all other sages in history are telling us to eradicate selfishness. However, if there is no corresponding program or environment, it is very difficult for people to become selfless. The second home is such a program where the teachings of saints and sages are completely implemented. Selfishness is the stumbling block to heaven. In fact, it is also the stumbling block to a beautiful life. A selfish man will never be able to enjoy a true happy and free life. Why you are angry? Because you are selfish. Why you want to commit bribery or accept bribe? Because you are selfish. Why you are so pessimistic and negative? Because you are selfish. Why you want to open a company to do business? Because you are selfish. Why you are so isolated and don't like collective life? Because you are selfish. Why you are jealous and discontented? Because you are selfish. Why you love money, position, or fame? Because you are selfish. Why you want to get married, possess someone, and be wealthy? Because you are selfish. Why you want to fight or rob something from other people? Because you are selfish. Why you always look upset and are hard to please? Because you are selfish. Why you feel your life is not satisfying, feel unsettled and painful? Because you are selfish. Why you want to take revenge? Why you are in worry and fear? Why you are not happy? Because you are selfish. Why you always complain and speak ill of someone behind his back? Why you always gossip? Because you are selfish. Isn't that so? If you want troubles and miseries, please be selfish. The more selfish you are, you will encounter more tragedies. If you want to go to hell, be selfish. Tao will meet your wish. If you want to have great life and want to go to heaven, please be selfless. If you are selfless, Tao will help you realize your dream of reaching paradise. 生命禅院个性与共性的统一性 The unity between individuality and generality in Life Genuine. Xiefeng. September 26, 2008 I will take the example of celestial beings' life in thousand-year world to talk about the unity between individuality and generality of the second home, now new oasis for life, in Life Genuine. Without individuality, life would be pallid. If a garden is overgrown with only one kind of flowers, it will be boring and monotonous. If it is a riot of colors with countless flowers in full bloom, the garden will then be lively and splendid. Every Chanyuan celestial should have individuality, must have characteristics distinct from other Chanyuan celestials, and we should protect, support, accommodate such individualities. We should not expect others to be exactly like ourselves. We should not set down requirements for others or find fault with others on the basis of our own habits and values. We should not bind others up or make indiscreet criticisms of others with standards that we ourselves think are correct. Without generality, everything will be in a state of disunity like a sheet of loose sand, and chaos and confusion will reign supreme. It will be easy for us to get into conflict and friction, and energy will be exhausted by internal strife. Thus, it will be difficult for us to achieve joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing, and accordingly, it will be even more difficult for us to demonstrate our individuality. As a result, we will have more afflictions and run into one after another trouble. With the passage of time, we may slide into the secular world, the animal world, and until into hell. Generality should embody individuality, and individuality should embrace generality. Only with the perfect unity between generality and individuality can we guarantee a vigorous and dynamic life in which there is both uniform will and pleasant feelings of individuals. Generality should accommodate individuality. Generality that does not allow the existence of individuality is inhuman, cruel, despotic, and dictatorial. Life Genuine should consistently be on guard against this trend. When individuality gets into conflict with generality, individuality should give way to generality. The individuality that does not conform to generality is a law unto itself, is immoral and radical, and will do harm to the collective. Such individuality is a morbidity that, reflects a distorted soul and indicates the deformity of non-material structure. The reason that people in the thousand-year world live a more joyful and pleasant and freer and more blessed life than people in the human world is because of the perfect unity between individuality and generality. The fewer conflicts and contradictions